previous video, I talked about how to get that dream vision highlights that you have in your mind and how you can talk about your mind's idea of highlights and the one with your customer or with your colleagues, and how you can bring this together to the final result that you all want to achieve. So I talked about how to determine the right color feeling effect that you want to achieve. And we scale that on a scale from 0 to 100%, where 0% is fully natural hair and the 100% is the full impact of the color. So as I'm doing this in my second video, I'm going to go back a little to our basics, and from there we bring it on step by step to how you can, what you need to do in which kind of effect that you want to have. So for that, I go back to the basics, and we have to determine our hair zones. So we all know this from school. We work with hair zones. So if this is the head, our beautiful, voila, this is our head. So we're going to work in hair zones. So for example, we have our nape areas, we have our back sides, top area, and our sides. That's something we know from school. So now, as we have these hair zones in our minds, now we can decide what kind of feeling we want to have in which kind of zones. So if we look in our minds, or we talk with our customers, or we look at pictures, or whatever you want to create, you can now determine in your zones how much impact of color you want to have. For example, in our nape area, we want to have a 100% full impact. In our top area, maybe we want to have only 20% impact. And if we have that in our minds, then we can decide how we want to work with the scale. So it's very important to remember our hair zones for everything that we want to create. So after we have our hair zones, we also had our sections that we're going to take. And for that sections, we use line structures that we learned in school. So we have 4 basic line structures that we learned in school, which is our horizontal line structure, our vertical line structure, and our diagonal line structures. So as we do hair cutting, we combine with these line structures a lot of new line structures. But for coloring, in this time, for highlights, we only use our 4 basic line structures. So if we want to work, what we know already now is we have a certain zone, and we know how we want to take our sections, which line structure we're going to use. It's very important that before we start, we decide that. The other and most important thing for highlights is how thick will this section will be. So we know which line structure we're going to take, but how thick it needs to be. So it's very, very important if we do highlights that we only work with a ½ centimeter or a ¼ inch of thickness of our section or weaving section that we're going to use. It's very important because this is going to ensure you the smooth and the balance of the result to get a smooth and even balanced color transition over the hair. So let's start. We have now our hair zones we want to work in, we know which line structure we want to work in, and we know how thick this section will be. So for highlights, we focus on 2 key aspects. We want to, the sensation is the first one, in each zone that we want to have. How much blonde feeling do we want to have in the different sections? So how much awareness of sensation we want to have. And the second part is how we want to have our blending from that color that we're going to insert in the hair. So ensuring smooth transitions from natural or blonde effects. So with these 2 fundamental keys, we are ready to move to the next video, where I'm going to explain how to work, what you need to do for the sensation in a certain hair zone, and how the blending will be. So I see you in my next video. Bye bye.